YouTube, Facebook Live. Good morning. Hey, I got a lot of reading here. If all my boxing lovers can be patient with me, and we're gonna go through some notes that I took on a conversation I was having with a Facebook friend. We was talking about Chavez, the legendary fight between Chavez and Pernell Whitaker, and the controversial that follows it. A whole lot of people, we know, I always tell you this, and I don't care who get offended of it because the truth is the truth. Most people don't know much about boxing. What I mean by that is they don't know much about styles. Different styles make fights. And most people don't know styles in detail. Otherwise, they would understand how to judge certain fights. I'm limited myself in knowledge, but I'm growing. And when I find out the truth, I love to share it. So that's why I say I talk so much about styles and talk about what we don't know, because I know where I came from, how I didn't know, how I was getting hit upside my head and not learning how to proper technique and styles. Furthermore, I'm going to break down Chavez. I'm going to break down Pernell, slightly. And some people they fought and try to come to a agreement or understanding, conclusion to this long argument. My argument is that Chavez beat Pernell Whitaker. Simply because I'll explain it. I got it all written down. Bear with me. Chavez started out like a puncher with good defense. Most punchers most punchers have to trap you first. So, they can't get you if you're always running. So they try to trap you first by being good defensively and lure you in to make you think that you can take their punches or that it's not a real big danger. Some punches also start to the body to slow a boxer down. If you're running a lot, they'll start to the body to slow you down so that then they can take care of you. So when Chavez, that was his main thing. He's a puncher. His main thing is to slow you down, defend himself against you, and then break you down. And sometimes if he can't defend himself against you, if you're too accurate with your punches, or if your timing is too good, he'll take the punches to his forehead and keep coming, or take them to his hard part of his face and keep coming. And then he'll eventually stop his opponent. That's what punchers do. They have to be patient and very defensive. Or have a hard chin. Now, Meldrick Taylor is an Olympic-style boxer. He's the opposite of a knockout artist. His game is to score as many points on you as possible, embarrass you, and if he can dazzle you so much in the beginning of the fight, he come back and knock you out at the end of the fight because you all screwed up because his punches coming, so many punches coming at you, and you're confused and you're hurt, or you just confused and you can't see him. You can't hurt what you can't hit, and he start back hitting you in the end of the fight. So originally, he don't take a lot of He's not there to take any punches, and his defense is mostly his legs. He's moving around. And while I'm thinking about that, Pernell Whitaker tried that with Chavez, but the problem was nowhere in the fight did Pernell actually pay him back. You know, you have to have that comeback. If you're a puncher and you don't knock your guy out in the end of the fight, you lost the fight. You lost the fight not because he didn't hurt you, not because you good at taking punches. No, you lost the fight because you couldn't pay him back and you couldn't knock him out like a puncher's supposed to do. So if you're a boxer and you start off making somebody miss and you don't get them back in the end of the fight or the end of the round or whenever, you're not doing your job as a boxer. So you're looking like you're just running instead of boxing. Still talking about Meldrick Taylor and Pernell. That's another example. You know, he took the Philadelphia style fighting. And in Philly, they like to rumble. However, if you are a real puncher, they tend to fear you because, like I said, in the later parts of the round, you start feeling those punches if you're a real puncher. And it's just a setup. In Philly, they don't think that deeply. They just go in and they fight off of instinct. And what's happening right now is what they do in Philly. They fight off of right now, what's going on. But they don't think of rounds ahead of the time. It's not a long thing for Philly. Philly gonna get you right now. And that's a problem with some of these punchers because they plan and set traps. Philly is more like, I'm gonna get you right now. Every moment you gotta watch your back in a Philly fight. And Chavez expected Pernell to fight like a Philly fight, but he didn't, and it threw Chavez off because Pernell just ran the whole fight. He didn't try to knock Chavez out. Not even once. He didn't come back at all. Only thing Chavez did is he went in, he started the fight, and he disappeared. He started the fight, he disappeared. That's like you messing with a big giant. You touch him and you run. You touch him and you run. He'll never catch you because you always got the upper hand because you know when you're going to run. So he can't catch you until you run. So you tag him and he's gone. There's no fight in that. That's almost cheating. And it's a difference if you touch him, run. Later in the fight, you touch him and he's slow and you knock him out. Then he thought you was still gonna run, but he played himself. See what I'm saying? It's a difference. But when you touch somebody and run the whole fight, that's why they make 12 rounds. That's why it's not the amateurs. The amateurs, you could do that. They don't want people to get really hurt. They're not looking for the knockout in the amateurs. But in the pros, they want people to dig down and earn this money. So you can't just tag somebody and run for 12 rounds. Even Muhammad Ali didn't do that. And he was famous for boxing. But Muhammad Ali, George Foreman, he turned around and knocked George Foreman out after all of that running. And he took a lot of punishment even then. So you can't just run the whole fight. That's not it. You know, a lot of people criticize Mayweather. Mayweather don't do that. Mayweather tags you along. He tags you along. And then he don't knock you out, but he beats you up throughout the fight. So it's two ways a boxer can handle it. He can beat you up throughout the fight while he's going back, or he can go back and then in the last minute turn around and knock you out. That's one of the best plans in the world. Sugar Ray Leonard used to use that. I think Angelo Dundee taught a lot of people that. Sugar Ray, Muhammad Ali, they used to box around, wait till you underestimate them because you think that they can't hurt you because they're running so much. But they turn around and change the whole fight on you. In the 6th, 7th round, they got you running. You like, oh man, I thought he was the runner, but now I'm the runner. And they switch the fight around on you. So that was basically why Pernell lost the fight. His punches wasn't, his get back wasn't on point. It's not an amateur fight. And I went over Chavez. He's very heavy-handed for a little guy. For him to be so small, his hands is heavy. Something like a fight that's coming up. Triple G. Real small guy for his hand heaviness. He's bigger than the guy he's fighting. That's why it's going to be very tough for Canelo to win, because you got a small guy with heavy hands fighting a smaller guy, you know, with heavy hands. But his heavy hands is nowhere compared to the smaller, bigger, heavy-handed person. So, I don't mean to switch off of this, but Canelo's only chance is to box, something like Pernell. But I don't see him doing that for 12 rounds. And especially against Triple G, because he's a good cutoff artist. He know how to cut the ring off slowly. But that's another topic. So, you know, Chavez, just like I said, like Triple G, he eats punches. He's coming at you. He went back one time, man, when he fought Rocky Lockridge. I mean, he probably went back before, but that was one of the times you see Chavez actually being cautious. He backed up and started boxing a little bit until the later parts of the round. But he had a good fight with Rocky Lockridge, and that was mental. I think he was worried about Rocky because Rocky was a puncher back then. And I think he didn't want to get caught. Rocky's a pretty slick dude. And he had just beat Mayweather, Roger. So Rocky was something to deal with. So Chavez, that shows his diversity. I thought he was just always going forward. But I saw that fight, and he's actually boxing. So Chavez ain't no joke, man. He's not just one frame type of boxer. That's impressive. Now with Pernell Whitaker, his defense is 100. Defense is better than Mayweather. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to just defense. But the thing is, in boxing, it's not just about defense. You know what I mean? You can make somebody miss. You know, you can make somebody miss. That's the only way you're going to make Chavez not knock you out for 12 rounds. You have to have Pernell Whitaker type of defense. He's great in defense, but he lacks the composure to have the payback. You got to have the countering ability. And I think that's where Sweet Pea fell. You know, in the amateurs, you can have all defense. You know, you still know, not even in the amateurs. They won't even give you points for having all defense in amateur. You got to punch. Pretty much, your offense got to be your defense in amateur. You got to be letting them go. But in the pros, you can't be all defense either. You know what I mean? You got to come back sometime. You got to show your danger towards the other person. You can't just run. And Pernell did that against Chavez the whole fight. You know, and the same people who hate Mayweather call him a runner. They praise Chavez. They praise Sweet Pea, and they say Sweet Pea beat Chavez. You know what I mean? Now, if Chavez, you know, was somebody else, what would they say? You know what I mean? If Chavez was another race of person, what would they say? That's the question. But So pretty much I explained everything, peoples. You know, that's boxing in the way Ask My Wedge see it. Please subscribe. Robert Pelez, boxing, defense first. Check me and my kids out. Tawheed, the next world champion, scholar, businessman, all that. And basically, you know, that was the whole point with Chavez and Pernell. You know, I like Pernell, man. I really love boxing, and Pernell was definitely one of the greatest boxers, and he has some attributes that, you know, should be solely attributed to his ability. Pernell is very unique. He lasted a long time. You know, I wish well to him. You know, I don't know how his personal life going, but I hear things or whatever. I hope he got that monster off his back, and he's doing the right thing for himself and his family. And I hope he find the truth about God. So peace out. Much love.